Good morning, world.
Good morning. I am ready to go. Let's do this. Woo! I am on one today.
It's Comment Friday. Comment Friday. We both have our. We might have some whiskey, right?
I am on one today. Let's do the comments. Let's do this, man. You know what? Let's get into it. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, Cedric, so I may be a little tired today because we had tornado warnings all night long.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And you had them in what county?
DeKalb County, but it was in a lot of counties.
No, what other county?
Oh, White County.
White County.
But
we didn't have any. Going to be doing in White County?
We didn't have any tornadoes, so it was good. But we did have the greatest light show. So we didn't. I've never seen this in California. So all of you that live on the East Coast, you're probably used to this. We're from California. The thunder never stopped. It was just like a rumble all night, and the lightning was like being at the Haunted Mansion for you California people, where it's just nonstop. But every time that the lightning would go off, everything would light up like daylight. Then it would go out, and then we had the lightning bugs, and I can't call them fireflies anymore because they'll know you're from California, so they call it lightning bugs out here. And the lightning bugs would light up, and then the thunder and the lightning. It was pretty cool, actually. You just didn't get a lot of sleep.
It's like thunder, lightning.
I shouldn't set him up for singing. All right, Cedric, why don't you start?
Okay. Brian and I are both a little fired up today because if you ask me,
Cedric's
I think Brian's a good guy. I've known the man for 20 years. I think I'm a good guy. I've known me all my life. But you put out one video, and it changes a person's perspective of you. And that's what I just don't like. Because we're good enough to do music reactions. We've done Tom McDonald. We've done Ren. We've done High Res. And a lot of you out there have started following us because of those music reactions. But you put out a video about your political views and how you feel about culture. And the next thing you know, you're a hated man. They're treated us like we're black and Jewish. Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, well, you know what I mean. So anyway, if you guys didn't see our last video, we did a simple video, which I don't think should have raised any hairs. And the video was about the people in the Democratic Party who are slowly leaving and coming over to the right. No big deal. It was truthful. It was like saying 2 + 2 is 4. But man, did it bother some of y'all out there. Woo, it bothered some of y'all. So I got this one comment here. It is from Shauna McNally, 5855. And this is what Shauna says. To hear you support a party that wants to control women's reproductive rights and what a woman can do with her body is very disappointing. I'm not from the U.S., but God help the rest of us on this planet if he does get in. He being Trump. He is unhinged. And how anyone who supports him doesn't see that is unbelievable. There is a phrase, only in America. And this is a perfect example. Goodness, I lost it again, Brian. I'm struggling here.
Okay, here. Let's see. There is a phrase, only in America, and this is a perfect example of why people from other countries think the way they do about the U.S. Yes. You are entitled to support whoever you want. Apparently not. Just as I am. But I cannot support anyone that supports Trump. Unsubbed.
And it doesn't bug me anymore. But the thing that really bugs me is that we were good enough to do high Ren video or Ren video and high res videos. But we put out a video that has a small modicum of truth. And the next thing you know, she unsubs. I went to a very lengthy explanation and I commented back to her. I'm not going to read it all to you. But basically I said, we've gotten to this point where we talk about George Orwell's 1984 and newspeak. And we've changed the word women's rights. It used to be called murder. Or better yet, it used to be called abortion. Why can't we call it that? That's what it is. And I told her, if you still want to do that, if you live in a state where you can't support your women's reproductive rights or abortion, and you can come to California, you can come to New York, and we will gladly do it here. We're just putting out the facts. 2 plus 2 is 4. Michael Jordan's better than LeBron. Men can't be women. There are just certain immutable facts that you just can't dispute.
Well, it's funny, Cedric, and I'm going to interrupt you here because she did. Yeah. She responded to Cedric. So this is funny. For one, these people that have Trump derangement syndrome on social issues is funny because Trump is probably the most socially liberal Republican out there. I mean, he would hug the LGBT flag. I mean, for some reason the LGBTQ hate him, but he was actually pro-LGBTQ and that would mess with some of the far-right people. So then he had Pence at the time to try to bring them in. You know how politics works. But socially, he's not conservative, really. He is on other things. So these people that cling to one thing, I mean, Trump doesn't even talk about the abortion issue. He did hire or pick the Supreme Court justices, so maybe they blame him for the Supreme Court justice decisions. But this is funny because she said to Cedric's response, I am pro-abortion for rape victims and those whose lives are at risk if they continue with their pregnancy. Well, you know what? Most of the states, including Ron DeSantis, they carve that part out for abortions. So, like it or not, those things that she just mentioned are okay with most Republican states. There are some hardline states, and my personal opinion is what's going to make it hard for Republicans to keep seats is if they keep going hardline. We got our way as far as Republicans. We kicked everything on abortion back to the states. That's what we wanted. We want states to control it. Some of these hardline right people, they want it to be controlled federally. I don't. I'm a federalist. I want the states to control most things. So when she says she won't sub to us because we support Trump, and then she talks about things that are probably in line with Trump, but then she goes on and she talks about a bunch of stuff that the media said about Trump that just wasn't true, but she won't talk about it. She talked about how he said, you should drink bleach. They took that out of context, obviously. Or some other ones that they took. Oh, where he said that there was good people on both sides. He said that, and right after he said, I don't mean the neo-Nazis and the KKK. He just meant that there were people on both sides that didn't want that statue of Robert E. Lee removed. On both sides. I live in the South now, some people just want to keep their Southern heritage. It doesn't mean they're KKK people, and it doesn't mean they're a bunch of racists. It's just part of history. That's what he meant. But people take it out of context. All they do, if this person's from England, which she said she's not from the U.S., so if she's from England, all they're getting is basically their national media is kind of like MSNBC. It's just, it's very one-sided.
She said something about she supports rape victims and when the mother is having trouble bearing birth. I understand that. Rape, incest, all those terrible, awful things that happen to a woman, those are awful. They comprise 2 to 3% of the abortions.
Yeah.
So what people like her are saying is like, and what I want to say to her is, okay, if we give you those 2 to 3% of abortions, are you going to agree that the other 97, 98% are wrong? Or are you using those just as an excuse to say that you want all abortions to be okay?
Yeah.
That's what she's saying, basically.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I understand that. But my point there is that socially, she doesn't like Trump, even though Trump socially was far more left than most Republicans. And it's so funny that they just got into this mode that they just didn't want to be president so bad that all of the media went against Trump and hammered him on everything, even though socially he wasn't that right wing. It's just crazy. Yeah. All right. So this I'm just jumping on this also. This is from Blue Indian 1328. And this was from a video we did a while where the media, again, was saying, did Ron DeSantis say blacks benefited from slavery? Again, they took that out of context. So this person obviously watched that video and they said, thought about subscribing after a music react video. Glad I checked this one out too. See you later. So Cedric posted right below it, peace. It's like it's strange. These are the same people that now won't watch Joe Rogan because he doesn't agree 100% with what their worldview is. And Joe Rogan, as far as I know, is still a Democrat. He said he wouldn't vote for Biden, but that doesn't mean he'd vote for Trump. But either way, he's been a lifelong Democrat, and these people won't listen to people because if they disagree with one thing, and it's just so silly.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Brian,
that's why we do this. That's why we get into this. We've started to get back in our political stuff, and of course, I knew we'd start losing some people because some people, their minds just aren't open to hear other sides because they never do. I mean, believe me, I have somebody very close to me that if Fox News is on, they actually figuratively go into a fetal position and suck their thumb. They cannot handle it. It's just strange. It's like we hear left-wing stuff constantly because that's what media is. Doesn't matter where you go. It's all sprinkled with left-wing stuff. We're so used to hearing the other side that it doesn't trigger us, but the other side can't even listen to a Fox News.
Let me piggyback on what that last statement was, Brian. There's a great statement that tells what DeSantis was saying, and it says, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create tough times, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Basically, what DeSantis was saying is that when you go through tough times, we as human beings, and those of us who live in the United States of America, we're very, very resourceful. When you're faced with tough times and tough issues, we have it within us to create a way out. That's what DeSantis was saying. He wasn't saying that slavery was a good thing for blacks. He was saying that I take my father and my grandfather, for example. They were faced with tough times. Now, they could have went into a corner and sucked their thumb and crawled into the corner and wet themselves. But no, they did something about it. Some of it was because they were motivated, maybe because they were angry. Whatever the reason was, they got up, pulled themselves up, and said, you know what, doggone it, I'm going to do something because I can either be a weak-ass man or I can be a strong man or make something out of myself.
All right. We don't want to have everything negative. So we did
I want this to be a negative video. Just all negative, negative 24/7.
We just find it funny, actually. So, again, thicker skin. I would love to have these people still sub and write to us and tell us they hate us, but at least listen.
They can kiss my black.
I mean, they should have to listen because Cedric's black, and you know if you don't listen, you're racist. So
come on.
Would you? Okay, so this one was from our video "Friends" by V, and when we did it, we had no idea that V was in the group BTS, so she helped explain it to us. So this is from @BattyGirlRachel. So she explained to us, K-pop is a genre BTS falls into. Not really my type of music, but it's actually pretty good. I have a few K-pop songs that I particularly enjoyed. Have you ever listened to Cake? They have a song called Friend is a Four-Letter Word. It is an interesting band. They've had a few hits, but never hear anyone talk about them. So we will have to check out Cake, BattyGirlRachel. But thank you for explaining to us what... So she didn't go into it, but V is what
Explain
I researched. V is, V is in the band BTS, which is, I guess, in K-pop, which is the genre, and K-pop stands for, I believe, Korean pop.
Oh,
see, I'm learning stuff on this station. We learn so much from you guys.
And that's the last thing I'm going to say, Brian, is that usually when I respond to someone, I said that's one of the great things about this YouTube platform is that we can have civil dialogue and learn from one another. It doesn't have to be this thing where we're just constantly battling with each other and butting heads. It's a great platform if used properly.
And when Trump first ran in 2016, I wasn't a Trump supporter. And I just heard the stuff that was on the mainstream news, and it was actually YouTube. I would listen to people kind of like Cedric and I, and they would bring things up, and so I would go back and look into it, and then I would find out all of the half-truths or actual downright lies that the media was saying about Trump. And guess what? It actually shifted me towards Trump. So sometimes it works against him when people aren't lazy and they're willing to look things up. Now, do I like everything Trump says? No, I think he's a buffoon and he says stupid things. But as Cedric said, and I think in his response to this lady at the first comment that we read, he doesn't pick his presidential candidate for a popularity contest. And then we know what Trump has done when he was 4 years in office. He didn't become a dictator, people. He actually created more peace in the Middle East than obviously we have now. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which we've been promising for decades and never did, and he did it. And yet the media said he was an anti-Semite all that time, Cedric. It's crazy. He's the worst anti-Semite that's ever existed.
And the worst racist.
I know, because he helped Jennifer Hudson's family when that bad storm came through the East Coast a few back before 2016. But did that ever make the news? No. And you wish that Jennifer Hudson would actually come out and say something, but, you know, people are stuck. They want to keep their careers, and they don't want to piss off the people in Hollywood or the music industry. It's sad.
Because if you do that, you don't get invited to the next P. Diddy party, and you don't want that to happen. No, we can't have that.
All
right. I thought we were gonna read we'd read like 5 or 6 or 7 comments, but this one was a little special. We had 1 or 2 that took up the bulk of this, but I'm glad that these came across because they kind of were the model of some of the comments that we get from people. So although there were just 1 or 2 comments that we read, we get a lot of these where people, they see us and they think, oh my goodness, those 2 guys are great. There's a black guy and a white guy who get together. They're awesome. I'm going to check them out. And then they find out one thing from a video and we are kicked to the curb.
But Cedric, God forbid Cedric is not a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, because that pisses off a lot of the black people that comment on Cedric's videos.
It's a damn shame.
Damn shame.
All right, you guys, we're excited. Me and Brian are starting to figure out a rhythm here. It's going good. We thank you guys for staying with us. This is kind of off the cuff, Brian. You know what I saw today? I saw a thumbnail for Awaken with Whip and a Conservative Ant. Those are guys who I haven't seen in a long time. So I think YouTube is doing something intentionally to suppress people like us so we don't get our videos out there. So make sure you like, subscribe, and resubscribe, and subscribe again, and ring that bell, and continue sharing our channel with everyone you know, from California all the way to White County, Tennessee, and all around the world. And keep the comments coming. We love them. And until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later. Cheers.
White County, Tennessee.